Hi guys, Paul Michaels from Real Dog Training. So day 4, video 4. I've been making all the videos the day before, uploading them overnight and then throwing them up on Facebook the next morning. But I had a mad busy day yesterday and it was like 11 o'clock last night and I thought about making a video, and I was like that overtired, delirious buzz going on, so I thought I'd make one today. So today's subject is your confidence in your dog's steadiness and how important that is for drive. A lot of people talk about trying to improve their dog's drive. You know, like people ring up about the one-on-one sessions and say, and they ask me what do I do to make the dog hunt deer. The training isn't really about that. I mean, I don't do much skin drag work, I don't have deer here, that's not what it's about. It's all about setting up your dog's control and range, walking in front, and its stop and its go and turn and all that stuff. So when you do go hunting, everything is controlled. Now, doing that properly, so when you get to hunting, everything is good and the dog's set up, range is good, control's good, and it does its job without you having to yell at it or put any pressure on it. Nothing goes wrong. That is what brings out really, really good drive, because it's about setting your dog up to succeed. If you keep your dog completely away from game for its whole life, right from a pup, and you only set up your commands, your walk in front, your range, your stop, go and turn, and all that's well set up, and you've also done a lot of work around other dogs, cattle, gunfire, all sorts of distractions, so your dog is steady around distraction, your dog's steady. Then, like I do skin drags and stuff like that, and you know, I've done it, I've done loads of it with some dogs, I've done none of it with some of my own dogs, but all dogs will hunt. All dogs will hunt, that's not the problem, and you know, most people are using hunting breeds like Vizslas, GSPs and Labradors and stuff. All those dogs will hunt like crazy. You don't have to teach them how to hunt. You have to teach them how to hunt the way you want them to hunt. That's the big challenge. I've never had anyone come to me and say, my dog won't hunt deer when we get in the bush. Everyone comes to me and says, my dog hunts really, really well. I take it in the bush and it just goes crazy, but I've got no control over it. So that's what you've got to train. You've got to train that control. And what I was saying about the importance of your confidence in your dog's steadiness. So if you set all that stuff up, you're confident in your dog's steadiness, you know it's steady around other dogs running around, you've introduced it to gunfire, it's rock solid steady to gunfire. You can take it to a dog park or a public park and walk it around off the leash, and when another dog runs up to it all excited, you can give your stop command and your dog sits there and stays there and it's steady. You've had it around stock. You've been walking out in a paddock and a rabbit's jumped up in front of it and gone to run away, and you can just give your quiet stop command and your dog stops to a running rabbit. Those sort of high distraction situations, once you're confident in that, and like I said, you've got your introduction to gunfire out of the way, you just take your dog hunting and it walks nicely in front. You see it put its nose down the ground, start tracking, it's tracking it, and you find deer marks, so you know it's tracking a deer, and you track that deer up nicely and the dog just follows it. You can say stop when you want to, you can say stop when you want to stop, you can say go when you want to go, and if the dog does happen to veer off or lose interest, you can put it back on that scent and say, give you a walk on command. You've got all the tools you need to do to hunt the way you want to hunt. And when you hunt like that, you can show the dog what you're targeting, because if the dog starts tracking a deer, you've got all the tools to keep it on that deer, and there's no pressure associated with it. You don't have to yell at the dog or growl it, tell it to slow down, chase it around or anything, because everything's set up. It's a good positive experience. If you take a dog into the bush for deer stalking, that's got no control whatsoever, and it hits deer scent, and it's just running around out of control, going too far, ends up spooking the deer, everything's just a shambles, you're yelling at the dog to tell it to slow down, or all of that, that's the worst thing for the dog's confidence and its drive. You know, if it's going too fast and you're having to put pressure on it while it's tracking its first deer, that's just an absolute stuff up. You need to have all that stuff set up. So confidence in your own confidence in your dog's steadiness is what brings about drive, hunting drive in your dog. And it's a very calm, steady, focused drive where the dog will just hook onto something, hook onto a scent, keep an eye on you, keep you close, and just take you into it nice and steady and methodically. They say practice doesn't make perfect, it makes permanent. So all dogs will hunt. So if you don't put any of these tools, any of the nice close range set up on your deer dog where it walks in front of you and it has to keep an eye on you and monitor its own range instead of you having to use a long line or tie it to your belt on a leash, or always keep giving it a stop command and telling it to slow down. It's watching you. You just walk. If you stop, the dog stops before it gets too far away. It monitors it all itself. And you have your nice quiet stop command. You can set up as a whistle or a hiss or any sound you want. I quite like a hiss, just and the dog will stop. If it does get a wind or it starts tracking, you can just nice and quietly sneak in, and because the dog stays close to you and doesn't go, because you're going slow, it's going slow, and then when you do see its ears pricking up because it's hearing the deer there, you can just, if it doesn't stop itself, you can give it a and it stops. And then, you know, you take your time, take your shot, it's steady to the shot so it stays sitting there after the shot. And then even if, you know, shoulder shot on a deer, it crashes away. Make it stop and wait after the shot. Then after the shot, once the dog, as long as the dog's nice and calm, you can quietly move in, put it on it again, get it to track it and take you to the shot deer. So the whole thing's gone perfectly, the dog's first deer. That's what sets up that calm, methodical, deliberate drive and makes your dog very, very confident, because throughout that whole transaction there between your dog starting to track and shooting the deer, everything was set up and controlled. You never had to growl at your dog or yell at it once, or it's just doing what you've been doing for the last few weeks or few months in training. All it knows how to do is walk in front, listen to you. Everything's calm and control. And then you keep doing that. And like I said, practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent. So you've got to make sure you're doing everything perfectly right from the start and over. That's when perfect practice makes perfect, permanent. If on the other hand, you don't set up any of this stuff, your range and control and all your commands, all your tools you need to hunt properly, and you just take your dog hunting, like 99% of people seem to, just let the dog be a dog for a few months until it's old enough to run around in the bush for the day, and then just take it hunting and put it in front and see what happens. It's just an absolute shambles. Dogs running around everywhere, ends up chasing deer or spooking deer. You get pissed off, so you're yelling at it. The whole thing's just a shambles, and that's, like I said, practice makes permanent. That's what you're making permanent, an absolute shambles. And the dog loses all its confidence because it's just trying to do its best, but you're yelling at it and getting pissed off and it's not getting the deer, and it's just, the whole thing's just a stuff up, and that doesn't inspire confidence. That doesn't inspire your confidence, or it doesn't bring out any confidence out of the dog. It's just, the whole thing's a stuff up. So your confidence in your dog's steadiness brings out confidence in your dog. And drive. Good drive. This whole just taking your dog out hunting and letting it go for it, it might make them, it might hype them up and get them excited when they get onto sign. They might end up chasing a deer, and yeah, that'll get them a lot of hype and drive. But it's this crazy erratic drive, which is no good for indicating deer. You want that quiet, steady, methodical drive. That's it anyway. That's my rant for the day. I'm off hunting. Got a dog just ending a boot camp, German Shorty Pointer. I'll take a camera, do a bit of filming. A real nice 3-year-old German Shorty Pointer that we've had for 6 weeks, and she's going real good. She's got all the stuff set up. I'm about to take her for her first hunt since she's had all these tools put on her range and all that. I'm going to get her tracking a deer and do everything I just talked about. So cool. See you tomorrow.